All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another great edition of Football Focus Weekly. Tonight, you see the schedule we got right here coming up. Tonight, we're going to do Pepman's players starting out. We're going to have a special interview with a special Pepman player who's doing some amazing things on the field. We'll get to him in just a second. But then we'll go right into the Dirty Dozen, our county rankings, the CMS Best to Last, most controversial rankings on Instagram, which have not been posted yet. Then we'll do our game previews for week 9. This is a big week. We've got a lot of big games going on tonight. Excuse me, not tonight, on Friday night. We'll do our predictions and we'll do slime time. One thing that is not on there, we're going to look at playoffs. We're going to look at the RPI rankings from the NCHSAA. And we're also going to look at some projected matchups based on those RPI rankings, courtesy of High School OT. All right, with that being said, we're going to bring on our guest tonight, who's doing some amazing things on the football field for an undefeated program. His name is Anthony Hawkins Jr. He's a running back for Hickory Grove Christian, who is 7-0 on the season, and Anthony is running for a whole ton of yards. So let's bring Anthony on and talk to him just for a couple minutes here. Anthony, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. First of all, I said all that, but I forgot to say you're a sophomore doing all this amazing stuff on the football field for Hickory Grove. My first question to you is, what does it feel like to run for, God, almost, 800 yards in the past 2 weeks? That's crazy.
It feels great. Reason why I'm doing all this is because I got God on my side. I got my coaches. I got my team. I got my line, especially. They're blocking a lot for me, and I just thank all of them for helping me succeed in running.
Absolutely. I mean, to run for that many yards, it definitely is a team effort. And, the fact that you shouted them out, I think they're going to block even harder for you. That's for sure. So how does it feel to be only a sophomore and, achieving all these accolades and, things for a 7-0 football team, undefeated on the season?
When I think of myself as a sophomore, I think I still got 2 more years. So anytime I make a mistake or do something bad, I said I'll fix it next time. And those next 2 years, I still have.
Absolutely. Well said, man. Obviously, you guys have won 7 in a row. It's a school record. How far can this Hickory Grove Christian team go this season?
I think we could go all the way. I think our next opponent, which is Asheville, everyone's healthy right now. So if we beat that team, then we beat Covenant, then that's a great season right there because that's the best season. Hickory go over half, and then we just have to focus on playoffs, which we'll get there when we get there.
I like it, man. One game at a time. That's the way the best teams do it. It's awesome. So what is Anthony Hawkins Jr. like off the field? What are some things you do for fun? Are you into video games? You play other sports? What are some things you like to do?
I do track. I do basketball. I do play games. Yeah, I go fishing sometimes as well, and I like to hang out with some friends as well.
Fishing? Man, where do you go fishing around here?
At Lake Norman.
Oh, well, okay.
My
All
dad.
right, well, that makes sense. All right, well, Anthony, it was great to take a couple minutes to get to know you better. You're doing some amazing things on the football field, man. I can't wait to continue to see you prosper, and congratulations on everything you've done so far, man. Great job.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate the time. All right. That's Anthony Hawkins Jr. for Hickory Grove Christian, 7-0 start to the football season. Coach Balkum, one of our favorites, man, getting it done. All right, so we're going to roll the intro. We'll be right back, and we'll get started on Pepman's Players, sponsored by VTO Sports, as you see it right there on the bottom of the screen. Hang tight, and we'll be right back. This is Football Focus Weekly with CFI, Charlotte Football Insiders. All right, welcome back to Football Focus Weekly. I'm the Pepman, Matt Morrow. Very excited to talk about an exciting Week 9 of football action. I'm glad to see you're back. I was really worried about you. Chat Administrator, because we didn't see you on the last show. You gotta let me know when you're not gonna be here, man. Things just got crazy, and if you saw some of it last week, we need you to keep things regulated around here. So, thank you for being here. We also have the legend, the engine, the professor. It's almost got too many names. Kenneth McClamrock.
Before long, I'm going to go from being the producer to the super producer to the mega producer. How many accolades you can give to a man, Pep?
Well, I got to take care of you, man. You do a lot, man, and I appreciate you. So, that's you. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we'll hear from the trilogy in a little bit. But first, we got to get down to business. And that business is Pepman's Players, sponsored once again by VTO Sports. So let's take a look at the players we got for this week. And we got a good number. All right. So we attended North Mech and West Mech for the first half last week because I had some work obligations, so we had to get out there at halftime. But I did notice a few guys doing some really special things, starting with wide receiver Ryken Maxwell. He was playing quarterback. I think Bokar Live was out with injury. And he had 2 touchdown runs, and he looked really good running the football. Really good speed and agility. North Mech, ran a variety of quarterback runs with him. And it looked like, it took a half for West Mech to adjust because it was 23-0 at the half. And then West Mech, shut them out second half. But they did win the game 23-14. Really, really good size kid. He's 6'3". Like I said, really good speed at receiver. He has good hands, runs good routes. Really good player. Then DeMaurice Jenkins, who's committed to East Carolina. He was real impressive coming off the edge. He had several tackles for loss in that first half. There was 1 or 2 we got on the highlight package. When you see him up close, he's every bit of 6'5", and I see why East Carolina wanted him. I think they got a steal. He's going to be big time. A really good player. And then for West Mech, number 12, DB Amari Richardson. North Mech's offense was really designed to kind of go away from B.D. Waddell V, the really good middle linebacker at West Mech. Everything they ran was either off tackle or outside wide, and they were really trying to, keep him from making all the plays because he's had several great games this year. It was a pretty smart game plan. But Amari, was kind of the beneficiary of that from a stat standpoint. He had 15 tackles from the corner position. He tackled really well in space, which, you talk about high school corners, they're not usually that physical, and he was really good. And it's a tough loss, but it was a good performance for that standpoint for Amari. Now, we had some other guys do some amazing things. I think the engine tagged me on this one. Asheville Christian quarterback Javier Rice, 33 for 53, 543 yards, and 6 touchdowns, but they lost to McCormick. I looked at the film, and I retweeted this film because it was fun to watch. I mean, those 33 completions, there was a wide variety. There's curls, corner routes, deep balls, throwing on the run, play action. It was a good mix of stuff, man. He's a really talented kid and really, really good accuracy. Every ball he put was on the money, giving his receivers a chance to run under him or run after the catch. Really, really good player. And the young man we just spoke to opening the show, if you missed it, we'll cut it up and we'll put it out there after the show. Running back Anthony Hawkins, sophomore, another big game, 323 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns. Hickory Grove, man, 7-0 start. We think they're having a really, really special year, man, doing some great things with Coach Bachman's leadership. All right, Ardrey Kell, quarterback Josh LeClaire, 3 touchdown passes and a rushing touchdown, and the victory over South Mech. Real good player, man. He makes that thing go over there in Archer Kill. Having a good season, and we're going to talk more about them when we start looking at RPIs and playoffs here in just a little bit. All right, also for Asheville Christian, we talked about Javier Rice. He's got to throw it to somebody. That's somebody, wide receiver Jacob Price, 10 catches for 201 yards and 2 touchdowns in that same loss to McCormick. Homecoming King, Adriel Miller for Central Bears, 11 catches for 232 yards, 3 touchdowns in their victory. He's had a great couple of weeks. Really coming on the scene strong. And, college coaches need to get them some offers, man. Need to get them some offers for sure. All right, over to Mooresville. DB Josiah Hunter, 2 interceptions. Pick 6 is one of those interceptions. A block punt, forced fumble, and 6 tackles. He did everything, man. Everything on defense and special teams. That's good stuff, man. Great job, Josiah. Over to Olympic, the Liberty commit, Elite 9, defensive tackle, 3 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 3 pass breakups from the D tackle position. Wow. A touchdown in their victory over Berry. I think it was 63-14, big win for the Trojans to remain undefeated on the season. All right, over to Northwest Cabarrus. He's been on here a couple times, running back Ray J. Waters. I love watching his film. Really good vision, good speed, 114 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns in their victory. I believe they are leading that conference right now over West Moran. They had a big win over West Moran earlier in the season. So they're sitting in the catbird seat, and they should have a high seed when we look at these playoff projections coming up a little bit later on. All right, Olympic Trojans again. Elijah Holmes, 400 yards passing and 4 touchdowns, total touchdowns, that is, in that same victory over Berry. I talked about Elijah Holmes on the ESPN 730 podcast yesterday with my boy Joe. I always forget his last name. But yeah, he was kind of a bit of a case study. We were talking about recruiting, so make sure you check that out when it comes out. I'll try to share that link when it comes out also. All right, over to Marvin Ridge. I know they're glad to have this young man back. Quarterback Evan Metters, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, 187 yards passing, 136 yards rushing. In their victory, Marvin Ridge, they got off to a slow start in the season, but Evan was hurt. That was a big part of that. Now that he's back, you see Marvin Ridge kind of rounding into the form that we kind of expected, when we were talking about previews early in the season. Central Cabarrus, quarterback Kayden Klein. Adriel Miller has all those yards. There's a reason why, because Kayden Klein is getting it done, man. 371 yards passing and 4 touchdowns in that same victory we referenced earlier. Over to Northwest Guilford, one of the better quarterbacks in the state. Quarterback Tanner Ballou, 261 yards passing, 4 touchdowns in their victory up in Greensboro. Northwest Guilford. Don't want to see him come playoff time. All right. Over to Crest. We always talk about Javier Green, but he's got a little bit of help. Wide receiver A.J. Adams, 5 catches for 117 yards, 4 touchdowns in their victory. Another one, drawn. We always talk about our buddy, Elijah Tillery, at the quarterback spot. He's got some help. They're a really good team. Running back Nigel Dula, 279 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns in their victory. Man, that's impressive stuff. A regular on Pepman's players, Concord athlete Keon Phillips at the quarterback spot, 6 total touchdowns, 3 passing and 3 rushing. That's a good season for some kids, 6 touchdowns. He had them in 1 game in their victory. Concord Spiders getting it done. Pine Lake, defensive end Gabe Bolivar. He's also a running back. 3 sacks, 7 tackles, 2 hurries, and he ran back a blocked field goal for 76 yards for a touchdown in 1 half. All that in 1 half. He didn't play in the second half. Incredible stuff from this talented young man from Pine Lake in their victory. Marvin Ridge, offensive lineman Sean McFarland, a CFI dedicated camper, baby. 14 knockdowns, and he powered the Marvin Ridge to 273 yards rushing in their victory. Good stuff. Big Sean getting it done. And Florence Christian down in South Carolina, this young man had posted his video, and I checked it out, and gosh almighty, this guy looked impressive. I retweeted it because I don't think he's getting a ton of attention, but he should, man. athlete Jules Huntley. He had 238 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a forced fumble. You guys are doing some amazing things on the field, man. That is amazing stuff, man. These stats, I swear, when I played back in the late 90s, we weren't doing this. I don't think we were, at least not at Harding, but, that we were not that great. But anyway, that's all of Pepman's players this week. Make sure you check out VTO Sports. Doing great stuff on the camp scene to help get you ready for your college camps. Make sure you check them out at VTOsports.com. All right. I'm going to bring back the Professor Engine.
What's up, Pep?
I forgot the other name.
Good looking.
How are you doing?
I'm well, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing great, man.
Pep, you were just talking about, I remember in 1995, Concord High School went to the spread offense. 4 wide receivers, not to throw the ball, to quote Coach Smith in the newspaper, to open up running lanes. And then after that, I got up there and I became kind of the first tight end to catch balls at Concord High School. I think I was the first one to have multiple touchdown games, right? And then my brother was the first tight end to have a 100-yard game. And then all of a sudden, 2002 rolls around and teams start throwing the ball. Remember, Jody Groom, Central Commerce, was the first team in Commerce to really throw the ball a lot. Chip English was his quarterback. He's now a big-time coach down in Alabama. And then all of a sudden to see the numbers that we have, 643 passing yards, 540 passing yards. I mean, I want to play offense right now. It almost makes me want to go back coaching so that I can coach some of these guys. Like, does anybody need like a third wide receivers coach? I will coach the third string wide receivers. Give me just one position group. I'll get it done. I can also coach up the holders on extra point. I got you. Let me know.
You know someone's going to take you up on that, right?
I'm there. I've been telling Big Webb, when the boys get old enough to go to the jungle, I will go and be the assistant to the assistant special teams coordinator.
I gotta jump. I was gonna say something, but I thought better of it. Remind me about that after the show. I got a joke about that. All right, we got some comments, man. You guys have been active. All right, here we go. What's up, crew? Shout out to. What the heck, man? Am I just crew now? I'm just crew. God Almighty.
You're good. All right. Crew though, pal.
Well, whatever. All right. Yes, Hickory Grove. Yeah, thank you for making that happen. That was awesome. That was awesome. He such a humble young man too. Some kids putting up those numbers, would be a little bit more, braggadocious and things like that, which is fine. Kids being kids, but yeah, so humble and thanking his linemen, thanking the team. That was awesome, man. You got a good one over there. You got a good one.
All right.
Yeah. Stephon White. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'm the exclamation point.
Thanks for watching, Stephon. Oh, chat administrator. Mooresville defense, 14 interceptions in the last 5 weeks.
Wow.
It's forcing
a lot of
takeaways.
interceptions.
Yeah, thank that defensive line making that pressure happen. Let's see. Derek Chambers. What's up, man?
Woo! Big week for them Creek boys this week.
Yes, it is. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to allow this. Because, we don't usually talk about them. But since they let me over there, I got to say, I disagree with that opinion, if that's true. I didn't watch it, so I don't know if it's true or not. But I'll take your word for it. I won't get in trouble. All right, Mr. Butler. I had a good conversation with Mr. Butler about Devon Biggers right here. I watched his film. He's a very good player. Very good player for Ashbrook. Make sure you can check him out, man. He's having a really good season. He's having a really good season, man. So Derek Chambers doesn't think they're getting smashed. So that's a good conversation over there in the chat. But right now it's just me and the engine. So before I move on, to the next thing, which is the Dirty Dozen. It's back to a dozen this week, by the way. I took the Baker's Dozen off. Back to the true Dirty Dozen.
It's so confusing, the Baker's Dozen,
Yeah, I know people don't bake anymore. It's
Subway's for.
Tell us about what's going on with the Winter Showcase, because I know you shared some exciting news with me about colleges that are lining up, to come out and check these kids out.
Pep, last week was the first big week that I really put it out there to college coaches. Last week, between I think Monday and Sunday, we ended up having, I believe, 9 colleges commit. Of course, we have way more than 9 colleges. Once again, colleges have been trickling in as kind of they were hearing about it. They were hitting me up. Pep, we've almost matched already, 2 months out. We've almost matched the number of colleges committed for the Winter Showcase as we had at the HBCU Carolina Showcase in May. And to put that into perspective, remember, we had just shy of 100 college coaches from 31 colleges and universities. That included 11 head coaches, including FCS head coaches that were there back in May. We've almost already equaled that, Pep, and the numbers are only growing. In fact, colleges who I know are coming, who haven't committed to me outright yet, but I know they're going to be there. There is no doubt in my mind that we will better the 31 colleges or universities present, that we will better the nearly 100 college coaches in attendance, that we will better the 40-plus scholarship offers that have already happened from the HBCU Carolina Showcase. And let me tell you, we've got guys coming, Pep, right now, players coming. We're talking about not just from North Carolina. This thing is really starting to get out there. And I have all-state players. I have players with scholarship offers from South Carolina, from Georgia, from Tennessee that's hitting us up. What do we need to do to get to this showcase? We have scholarship offers, but we want to have more. We don't think we have that right fit yet. What can we do to get to your showcase? North Carolina guys, especially 704 guys. If you have not registered, you need to do that now. We had almost 350 kids at the HBCU Showcase. Pep, you would know better, but I think it was somewhere around 336, 339, somewhere around there. 1 or 2 that showed that whatever. But remember, we have a limit as to how many players per position. Why do we have a limit per position? Well, simply put, it's so that the college coaches can get good looks at you. We could go out there and we could have 79 quarterbacks come out, but ain't no college coach able to look at 79 college coaches. It wouldn't be fair to the college coaches who are driving to us. It wouldn't be fair for the players and the parents who have forked out hard-earned money. Therefore, we have limited the spots to only a limited number to ensure that quarterbacks, for example, get all the reps that they want, to ensure that defensive linemen get all the reps that they want, to ensure that running backs and linebackers and DBs and offensive linemen and tight ends get all the reps that they want to get. If you come to this camp, you will be seen. If you come to this camp, you will get a ton of reps. If you come to this camp, you will be in front of more college coaches than at any other place except for the national convention that's held every single year. You're guaranteed that. No other showcase can promise you that. And that's our promise to you. Why? Because our goal is to get the most college coaches in front of the most high school athletes as we can fit and be fair to everyone.
Amen. Last year it was 340 kids.
340. I got 339 was in my head.
But in saying that, we turned away another 100.
And I had coaches mad at me, Pep. You had coaches mad at you. High school coaches here in Charlotte calling me up. Just why can I not get my kid in? Well, because you've known about it for 3 months, because I've sent you messages, because I've sent your kid messages, and they did not show up. Sign your kid up today. Unless you have that FBS guaranteed offer, sign your kid up. There will be FCS schools there. There were FCS schools last time. If you have one offer, two offers, or zero offers, if you don't have the offer that you want, that committable, I'm ready to commit right now offer, you need to get to camp. And there's going to be talent there. You better be ready to come.
Absolutely. Once again, to sign up, make sure you go to charlottefootballinsiders.com. It's right there on the home page. Just click the picture, and then you can register right there. Please make sure that you do this. I'll tell you, I posted it on a South Carolina Facebook group that was talking about kids snubbed for the Shrine Bowl. And they were talking about, how kids, that didn't get in won't be able to get offers. So I posted it. And I swear we had 2 South Carolina kids sign up within an hour of posting it. Because they know.
I'm sorry. No less than 7 or 8 South Carolina Shrine Bowl picks. Shrine Bowl picks from South Carolina hit me up since they were picked up saying, how do we get to this camp? We've heard about it. We want to be at it.
Absolutely. All right, let's bring on the biggest of the big. Big Shelby.
Everybody got on the gear tonight too, man. That's so crazy.
We're finally.
The check cleared.
Let me go check the account.
Who is the swag? We are the swag.
Who the swag? Who the eye man? That's what we're gonna find out this week, man. We're gonna find out who run it down there in Charlotte this week, man.
Oh, it's a lot of big games, man. All right, let's take a look at the Dirty Dozen. Where is it at?
Uh-oh. Any changes? Any shakeups? Let's see.
Uh-oh.
You ain't get your speech. The most controversial rankings, right?
I said
that's the best to last.
Yeah, that's CMS best. There we go. All right. Now, there's the Dirty Dozen. All right, so number 1, we got Huff, 2 Chambers, 3 Providence Day, 4 Catholic, 5 Kings Mountain, 6 Weddington. No real changes up until we get to the bottom because Charlotte Christian lost. So Olympic moves up a spot. Mooresville moves up a spot. You know what? I said it was going to be the Dirty Dozen, but then I got 13 on there. So I guess it's the Baker's Dozen still. I don't even remember what I do, man. I'm doing too much, man. Prep Red Zone, Queen City Senior Bowl, CFI Winter Showcase. This.
No, it's okay, Pep. I think Dirty.
A lot, man.
Dirty is Romanian for 13. So you're okay. The Dirty 13, that's what they say in Romania.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
You're okay.
You always right.
I forgot that. Yeah. So then on the edge, we got Hickory Ridge, who, oh my gosh, they put the wood to Lake Norman, man. South Point, who lost in that big game to Kings Mountain. There's Charlotte Christian, Cox Mill, and then J.M. Robinson. So what do you guys think about the rankings there?
I like them. I was able to be at that Kings Mountain South Point game, man. It was a great environment, man. Kings Mountain, I think they checked off another box of people doubting them if they could be able to stop an offense like South Point's, even though they're necessarily their defensive linemen, they're necessarily all the way across the board. They're not necessarily as thick, but they're very athletic. You know, if people question if they can get the job done. So I think Kings Mountain is going to be a scary team to beat, man. I do feel like they're finished the year undefeated. So hopefully they'll probably get – I think right now they're the number 1 team in 3A. So they'll probably get every game at home the way it's looking, man. That was a good game. I think they'll probably see each other again. I'm not necessarily sure, but I think South Point probably is looking at the film, a lot of missed opportunities. They weren't able to – I was very surprised that you see somebody just necessarily shut down their whole rushing attack. I think Keys first play of the game, maybe they bust one long first play of the game, and that was it. Everything else was like between 1 and 5 yards, maybe 6. They did a good job of neutralizing the fullback, making him – they did a good job of making the quarterback always having the pitch of the quarterback keeper. They did not let the fullback beat him. So, hats off to them. But, I think the list is pretty good, man. I think the game between Huff and Mallet Creek this week, that might shake up things. You never know who's going to win that one. So I think the list is pretty good, man. I see Big Morris was in there, man, moving up.
Yeah, they've been impressive, man. They have really been impressive. And you're right, Kings Mountain is number 1 in the RPI. South Point's number 3, so the loss didn't hurt them that much. But the thing to keep in mind is they'll be ranked as a number 2 team coming out of that conference if they finish second. So they'll be the highest ranked.
I think they finished second because they beat. I think they beat everybody else. They just lost to Kings Mountain, so they already done played Crest. I think they already done beat Stuart Kramer. I don't know. I think they play Asheville this week, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's Asheville.
I think they'll probably finish second or third, maybe. Never know, give or take.
Ken, if you got any thoughts on the dozen?
Yeah, Pep, last week was a big week for the McClellan boys. We went to 3 high school football games. We went to a college football game. My boys had their soccer match. And, Webb, we made it to Pepman's engagement party.
Whoa. We're going to, trust me, that's coming. That's coming because I got something to say about that.
A little bit tardy, but we did make it. But I got to see J.M. Robinson once again live. The Hobbs kid, he had a 56-yard bubble he took to the house. The Debo White kid at nose guard, or actually was playing 3 technique. Incredible night. I mean, J.M. Robinson just looked really, 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 really sharp. I saw Cox Mill on Monday night play extremely well versus A.L. Brown. I'll just leave it at that. The quarterback, and then the new wide receiver, Pep Saxon Kennedy, I believe.
Yeah, Saxon Jenkins, yep.
Saxon Jenkins. Holy cow, that joker had 3 touchdowns. I mean, just through the roof. Incredible. Demir Edwards, incredible. Really impressed by Cox Mills. Linebacker number 9, just a big stomp kid.
Sam Cower. Yep.
Sam Cower. He was incredible. Good offensive line play. Just a really dominant performance by Cox Mill. I mean, you look at Charlotte Christian, whose only losses are to Raven Gap and Weddington in overtime. I mean, holy cow. I mean, I'm just looking at the bottom of the list, right? Because that's where the movement is. Hickory Ridge, who had an incredible game. Had to be their top game of the season. 55
yes.
over Lake Norman, who was undefeated at 6-0. And then, of course, South Point. I mean, this list is incredible. Mooresville, you talked about them. Their run game, now their defense has caught up to them. I mean, just incredible. Audrey Kell, the offense and the way that they're able just to keep that ball moving. And then, of course, Londale Burns, man. I mean, shout out to them jokers too, man.
Absolutely. A couple of comments before we move on to the next rankings. A.J. Richardson is a Shrine Bowl snub.
True.
There's a lot, and I'm gonna just say this. This is the reason why these other bowl games are existing. Okay, this is the reason why, because there were too many kids, and you got, when you're responsible for the whole state, there's always going to be snubs. But there were too many kids that were not getting, the right recognition, which is why you've seen them now. You not only the Queen City Senior Bowl, but the eastern part of the state has a game. The Carolina Bowl's around, and then there's some other ones around. So just because you don't get in the Shrine Bowl, there's other opportunities out there. Okay, make sure you take advantage of them, and make sure if you're in the eligible counties, Mecklenburg, Gaston, Cleveland, Cabarrus, and Union, make sure you apply for the bowl game. Okay, make sure you apply. Give yourself a shot, man, because I'll tell you this, and I'm just stating facts here. The stuff that has been done with the Queen City Senior Bowl, you haven't seen with the other games. Okay, and I'm just stating facts. You can go out there, you can Google it, you can look at the social medias and see what's been done for other games and then what's been done for the Queen City Senior Bowl. Okay, so, sometimes things happen. It's a blessing in disguise. Okay, and I'll leave it at that. All right, Joe Hughes, Kings Mountain first to hold South Point under 200 rushing yards. Wow. South Point will be an 8 or 9 seed if they win out. Yep. There you go. Good stuff, Joe. Good stuff, man. Good to see you again, Nikisha. Nikisha made the engagement party, by the way.
I got this shirt last year at the HBCU showcase.
You see where he was? You see where he was, Nikisha?
At the right place, at the right time, and my guy Pepman took care of me.
See, if you were at the right place, you would have a shirt already. But Yours is coming. Okay, it's coming. Joe, you could have been there too, man. You could have been there too. Okay, I got like 8 shirts for you, Joe, because I hadn't seen you in like a year. All right, Jermaine Moss, go to the CFI camps. You might not catch all eyes, just have to catch the right eyes.
Well,
you know,
true.
that is fire right there, because you can only go to one school. Are you in it for the offers, or are you in it to find a home?
Yep.
You know?
Pep, should I tell the story that I shared with you last night?
Go ahead. Why not?
So I'm talking with a young man out of state, so he's not a local player, out of state, and he says he's interested in going to the camp. So I sent him the information, and he says, "Oh, I'm gonna be at another camp on that date." I said, "Well, that's great, man. How many college coaches will be at that camp?" And he said, "None, but there's gonna be a lot of spectators there, and they live stream." And I said, "Well, okay, all right. So a lot of spectators, a lot of mamas will be out there. That's good. A lot of mamas will be at the Winter Showcase as well." And then he said, "But hey, you need to come down and watch me play because I can ball. I'm underrated." And I said, "No, I've watched your film. You're good, dude. You're really good." "No, I'm underrated. I'm the most underrated player in all the country. You got to come down here so I can show it to you." "Well, dog, you ain't got to show me nothing because I don't offer you scholarships. I'm not a college coach. I can only give you a platform to perform in front of dozens and dozens and dozens of college coaches." Long story short, the dude said, "I'm going to stay with my thing where there's spectators in the stands." And come to find out, the camp that he was talking about ain't even the same day as the Winter Showcase, man. Are you about the offers? Or are you about finding the right fit? Jermaine Moss, man, we need to screenshot that. That's money right there.
Absolutely. And the funny thing about it is, we'll probably have more cameras than whatever place he was talking about, because if you remember from the HBCU, so many cameras were out there.
Crazy, man. It was crazy.
Yeah. So
I know, like, if anybody's questioning what the camp does, man, it's like what Kenneth always says. Think about in December, right? It's still the heart of football season for a lot of Division I, Division II schools. Pretty much, yeah, Division I, Division II. What's the chances of you going to a camp and the head coach is there? Most of the guys that's 5-star players, sometimes the head coaches might not even be at a camp you may go to. You're going to have the chance to perform from the head coach, if not the head coach, the lead recruiting coordinator, not the assistant recruiting coordinator. Probably going to be the head man there, the position coaches, all these places, man. It's really no other place to be in December other than the state game than the CFI Winter Showcase, man, to be completely honest with you.
there you go. Terrence Losh, lots of mamas. I guess he's looking forward to that.
Oh, I can't wait to slime some mamas tonight, Pat. I got slime.
Know what that's about.
At my side job, man, I've been dealing with a different sport. And I'll tell you one thing, man, there's some different parents. People think football parents are bad, baby. Oh, man. Nothing close to what I'm talking about.
I gotta put that point guard out there on the court.
Stay tuned to Slime Time to see what all that's about. Also, Joe Hughes weighing in under 50 slots. He's talking about the Shrine Bowl. He is upset about that chicken, man. Good gracious!
But you know,
that must have been some bad chicken.
Can we just say, and I haven't even checked the Shrine Bowl rosters, Pep, right? Not to this degree, but I know from a whole lot of life. What are there, 6 or 7 Shrine Bowl coaches? You know, the most you can have is 2 players per team. Now, we know there are certain schools that could fill up the entire Shrine Bowl roster and be just as good as what we have out there. But I want you to notice the schools that have multiple players, notice where they're from, and notice if their head coach is a coach on the roster. I'll just leave it at that. There's a lot of politics that go into the Shrine Bowl game.
It's definitely a lot of politics. I
don't know.
Then there's a lot of snub. It's crazy how a lot of guys can get snubbed when it's kind of really based off your stats from last year. And then you come to the combine and you can be the number 1 passer in the state, yards and touchdowns, man. You don't even make it. And at some point, man, people are gonna boycott the Shrine Bowl and just start going to the Queen City Senior Bowl, man.
Well, I'm gonna tell you a secret. I had a player from my last school that I head coached at. He never went to a Shrine Bowl combat, and guess what? He made the team.
Hey, it's 2 kids from North Carolina. There's 2 kids from North Carolina in the same position that I found out didn't even go to the combine. And they still made it. Now, I'm not knocking those kids because they're very good kids, but I'm just like, what's the point of having the combine?
Coaches, let's be real. You got coaches who I coach for Team A, and I don't like Team B. I ain't looking at Team B because I'm afraid that Team B's coaches might try to recruit my players. But I'm going to stop. I'm going to get myself in trouble tonight.
Well,
it's crazy. And at least in South Carolina, in South Carolina teams, they still pick the best of the best. Even if they do double, it's probably 2 dogs probably 2 dogs that's gonna play. It ain't gonna be a dog and a puppy. It's gonna be 2 dogs that's coming out the team. And they might not be in the same position either, or on the same side of the ball.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's gonna be a topic we talk about some more probably next week because there's a lot we can say about that.
But congratulations. It's the second highest honor that a North Carolina high school football player can have. AP All-State being the first. Shrine Bowl is the second. So congratulations to, there 43, 44 players picked.
Yeah, and huge shout out to my guy, Jakeem Hamilton, man, wide receiver at Shelby. Blessed to be a part of the Shrine Bowl, man. Then also a huge shout out to
I saw out there he had 2. Well,
yeah, he had a great edit by a guy I know. I won't put the guy's name out there that made the edit because I don't want his inbox to go crazy. And also shout out to Kahari Haynes at Burns that made the Shrine Bowl that's committed to App State. So congratulations to Coach Devine and Kahari.
CFI award winner Kahari Haynes. Heck of a player, man, that linebacker spot. All right, before we move on, I think Engine, you got another name now. Pastor McClamber.
Pastors and teachers, they're both the same people. They just like to hear themselves talk. That's all it is. Coaches too. Pastors, teachers, and coaches.
It's all the same ministry, man. We're trying to save souls, man.
Don't go there. All right, on the county rankings this week, not too many changes in Mecklenburg. Upstate, we still got Northwestern at 1, Catawba Ridge 2, South Point 3, and Indian Land 4. Let's talk about the upstate a little bit. Are you guys surprised at kind of how this thing is kind of turned on its head a little bit?
I mean, I think it's going to be hard to kind of move up in these rankings anyway if you don't play the people already. I don't know. I think these rankings are always pretty much solid, man. It's going to be hard to move up and down for a lot of the counties. So.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. You know, South Point won. They got back on the winning tip last week against Lancaster, but they won 10-2, which was, a little surprising. But a win is a win, and obviously their defense is still playing really well. And then East Gaston is 5-2. They've gone on a little bit of run here. I put them at number 2 with Forest View 3 and then Ashbrook at 4. Cleveland's been pretty much the same. Union moved Monroe back up. Porter Ridge had a tough loss. Forest Hills at 3. And then Cabarrus has pretty much stayed the same for the past couple of weeks now. So
let me tell you, Pep. Now, yeah. I agree with your Cabarrus County rankings there. But after watching Cannon School live, buddy, I tweeted about it. Those offensive skill players that they have between the quarterback, the running back, and 3 wide receivers, those kids can play. Don't be surprised if one of those teams have a hiccup. Buddy, Cannon School is waiting in the wings.
Yeah. I would say for Gaston County too, man. I don't think I might switch to Ashbrook or Forest View just because Ashbrook won last week and Forest View lost. So, and they beat Stuart Kramer. And Stuart Kramer was one. I think they was in the top 4 last week, I believe. I'm not sure. So.
Yeah, it's close. It's close in Gaston.
And you're sleeping on Hunter Huss. You're sleeping on Hunter Huss.
Well, no.
Hunter Huss is better than Forest View. I think it should be.
They did beat Forest.
Hey, Forest View lost.
I did see that. Yes, but you look at the whole total totality of it, especially in Gaston County, because Gaston County, it's like 1 week is here, and the next week is here. I mean, you don't know, what the heck you're going to get.
That's because the games are spaced out. That's because the games are spaced out.
Mm-hmm.
And they're playing other teams, But I think you got it right with South Point, East Gaston, and Asheboro. Maybe I think Hunter Hush should be in there, though. I think Asheboro probably should be 2, maybe, in my opinion.
All right, so Joe is saying Ashbrook 2, Hunter Hush 3, and East Gaston 4.
It's the Gastonia insider right there, man.
Also, he's adding can't keep Stuart Kramer around, giving up 300 rushing yards with regularity. He also says Hush is the only team to hold a lead on Kings Mountain all year. Some pretty convincing arguments right there.
Give my guy Randy Thompson some credit now.
No, we've had Coach Thompson on the show, man. I like him. They were in here before. But like I said, it's tough, man. It's tough, Gaston County, man. He gotta, Joe need to be on the show, man. Come on, man. I'm here trying to do this stuff, man. Let's see. Mega producer. What's up?
Nothing much. Glad to be here. Shout out to the McClamrock boys for giving me the idea on the name change.
At Pep's engagement party that the McClamrock boys made.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hope they didn't think I was gonna forget, because I certainly didn't. But yeah,
I haven't seen any poop comments yet, so they might not be on the computer yet.
All right. Well, that was good discussion right there. All right. Now for the CMS Best of Last, the most controversial rankings on Instagram. They're not on there yet, but they will be very soon. All right. So you see the top 10. We made a few changes as we got down past. The top 7 has been pretty stable. Okay, so the 7 teams right there from Huff to RGKL are pretty stable. We made some changes. I saw North Meck live. I thought they were impressive. They beat West Meck. So North Meck moves to 8. West Charlotte moves to 9. That's going to be an important game in that conference later on. I think the winner of that game gets in. Well, West Charlotte's in 3A, so North Meck will really need to get that win, because right now they're on the borderline of being in or out when they look at the playoff projections. Providence goes to 10. They gave Independence a good test. Independence won that game 28-13, but Providence, made them earn it. I thought they played, pretty well throughout. West Meck drops to 11. South at 12. Myers Park 13, and then on the way down. So, any thoughts on the CMS Best of Last right there? Chat administrator, I need my hashtag.
He already got it.
all you do is paste it.
He ain't put it on there.
I don't know. He might be asleep at the switch. He might be at work.
No, he got it. He got it on there.
No, he's got the email on there. So if you don't disagree, make sure you send an email to pepiswrong@gmail.com. I have not gotten many emails, so I feel like I've been doing a really good job this year on analysis, but a horrible job on my picks, which we'll get to later on.
I know who did a good job.
Well, we'll get to that. Terrence Law saying North Meck is big and athletic. They are coming. Well, if their quarterback Bokar comes back, he didn't play against West Meck. Riken, we talked about him. He's a Pepman player. So that made him kind of one-dimensional. So they got to get him back so they can have, the full complement of the passing game and everything. But yes, they are big. They are athletic. They are physically impressive for sure. Thank you, chat administrator. There you go. There you go. All right. Let's move on. Game previews of week 9. We got a big week ahead of us right here. Only 4 game previews to talk about, but they are some big games. Big Shelby, you were excited about Mallard Creek at Huff. I'll let you lead that one, man.
Oh, yeah, I think that'll be a big game, man. I think this is going to be a statement game for Malik Creek in their eyes. I feel like they're looking to take back over and reclaim what's theirs. It's also for first place in the conference. So, Huff beat Chambers, and Malik Creek has a matchup with Chambers at the end of the year. So, I think Huff is looking like, hey, man, we try to reclaim what's ours too. We try to stay on top and stay dominant. I think it'll be a great defensive game. Malik Creek had to stop Huff. Offensive attack, so Malik Creek had to put up points and try to match Huff's attack. I believe, isn't Justin Wheeler the quarterback at Malik Creek? Is it Justin Wheeler, the kid at the Malik Creek quarterback?
So they've been playing number 10, Robinson, from Malik Creek. When I've looked at their film, he's been the one playing. I don't know if Justin might be hurt or they might have made a switch, but Robinson, he's a dual threat guy. He can really run.
So that'd be good to see if Huff can make him pass more than he runs, contain him. I think this is a good statement game for both sides because I feel like if Malik Creek beats Huff, they're going to look at it like, hey, man, we can beat Chambers too at the end of the year. So, a lot's riding on this game. Number one, probably can get a number one seed in playoffs, if not, number two. So you just never know how this game is going to play out. It's going to be a big game, though.
Absolutely. You look at Huff. Huff, since losing to Dutch Fork the opening week, they have not given up more than one touchdown in a game. The most points they've given up was 7 to Chambers. It's been 6, 6-0, 7, 6-0. The big thing for Malik Creek is finding ways to generate points. Mm-hmm. And we know offensively, they've got a big offensive line, okay? We know they can run the football. They got a couple guys that they can get the ball to and, kind of grind it out a little bit. But the big thing is I think you got to look at defense and special teams, especially special teams, because when Huff has to punt the football, Malik Creek has a dynamic punt returner. And, Kenneth, you know who I'm talking about. He was one of the top 5 performers at our camp in Morrison. And I believe he was picked for the Shrine Bowl also. I think if you're Huff, you don't punt to that young man because, he is that dynamic. He is really good in that special teams game. Kickoffs, Huff's kicker obviously can put the ball out of the end zone, and Nolan Hauser. They're not scared to kick long field goals because he's talented. Field position is going to be a big part of this as well. Webb, I do agree, it's going to be defensive. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be a carbon copy of the Chambers game. And you know what was the big thing in the Chambers game? A kickoff return by Markel Quick. So special teams, really, really important in this game. I think even more so than you would say in a normal game. It may be one of the more bigger phases because these teams are so good on defense. I think Huff, obviously, with their experience, is a little bit more refined on offense with Hudson, J.T. Smith, and Markel Quick and those guys. But, Malik Creek has some really, really good talent on the defensive side of football. They can get after the quarterback. They can play man coverage. One of the few teams that can match up on the outside against the Huskies with their corners, especially in Bowden, who's a really talented corner for Malik Creek to go with Morrison. Short at linebacker is also another Shrine Bowl selection. He's committed to East Carolina. Ali coming off the edge. I mean, they got a lot. They got a lot over there. So it's going to be a heck of a game. Mega producer, I know you're planning on being there. I will tell you, I was going to take this week off, but my plans have changed.
Whoa.
So,
dropping the bomb.
Yeah. So I may be there. I haven't fully decided what I'm doing yet, but I will be around. So let's see. We got some comments here. All right. Derek Chambers giving us a injury report. Wheeler has been hurt. So there you go. There's the answer to that question. He says they're going to be all right. So Derek says they're going to be all right. They're going to be all right.
I would agree. We talk about teams having their exam, so to speak. Well, this is Malik Creek's exam. So, yeah.
Well, now hold on. Now they had some exams. Now they had some exams early in the season in that non-conference schedule.
Well, no.
No, they're not really exams.
The
Not
local
really.
exam. Local
Go
exam.
ahead.
Oh, you can go ahead, producer. I don't think the big games, I said, like them going to Georgia, it's not an exam. That's more like it's more like studying abroad. You know what
There
I'm
you
saying?
go.
Study abroad. They studied abroad, see how they like it, just to get a feel for themselves. So now they got a take home test. Now they can take it to the take home test.
Yeah.
I call this the local exam because, I mean, if we're being completely transparent, like Buford, nationally ranked team, highly ranked nationally. If we just gonna be honest, a lot of teams would have went down there and had the same result. Let's just keep it a buck, as they say. So I don't fault them. I don't see that as a failed test on that event. Plus, I commend them for being even willing to go down and play a nationally ranked team on their turf. So, but
Hopefully they got paid for it.
right, I'm hoping so too. But as far as the local teams and teams they'll see regularly, that's why I say that this and local playoff implications. That's why I say this is huge. I feel like this is their moment on the schedule, and Huff obviously is going to be ready. So you look at those defensive numbers. That's commendable.
Is it Huff's homecoming too?
Seems like about homecoming time.
Yeah, I think this was one of the comments said. See, I'm saying now you scheduling Valley Creek on homecoming, man. Somebody gonna be out there saying, we're gonna figure out, that's disrespectful, man. If I'm Valley Creek, I'm pitching that as disrespectful, like Pride.
Yeah, I've seen Huff up close and personal this year. They'll be ready. I mean, trust me.
It could come down to Pep, and you mentioned special teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
The coaching staff who is the most patient in this game. When I've seen Coach Jenkins at his best, Coach Jenkins is playing the field position game. I've seen him punt from his opponent's 40-yard line just to pin them deep. And if he can keep the field flipped, if he can keep Mallard Creek in negative field position, right, on their own side of the field, that could be a huge benefit. That's why having a kicker who kicks kickbacks every single time does to you. And I haven't seen Mallard Creek play, but I'm assuming just because it's been the case, Huff, play, but I'm assuming because it's been the case for so long, I'm assuming that Huff probably has a pretty good punter as well, who can do those coffin kicks inside the 5-yard line, who can pin you deep, who can give you 4 seconds plus hang time. And if that's the case, it's going to come down to, can Huff or Mallard Creek's coaches be patient? Can they continue to hold on to the ball? Can they chew up clock? Because we know that both Mallard Creek's defense and Huff's defense swarm to the football like very few teams that we see. Mallard Creek, extremely fast, extremely athletic. Huff, extremely fast, extremely athletic. It might come down to a time of possession game and what coach doesn't make a mistake, because we've said it, Mallard Creek is battle tested. They've won 4 in a row, Gaffney being the biggest. Huff has beaten Chambers. They've won 6 in a row, whatever it is now. It might come down to which coach doesn't make that last minute call that he shouldn't have made, if that makes sense.
Right.
And definitely in a game like this, man, you want to either try, like y'all speak, like y'all said about special teams, either want to try to win the special teams battle or try to get a defensive touchdown. So, it's one of those where, man, somebody got to score on defense to weld in the help, and if you can return a punt or return a kick, man, that'll be plus 2. Or even block a field goal, that'll be a plus 2.
Well said, guys. Let's see. Ralph Blakeney says Huff has already had homecoming, so there's that motivation tactic that might be gone. But we got to remember, Mallard Creek's playing with a lot of emotion. Okay, remember, the sad, loss that they had of their coach, and that's something that can carry you, for multiple weeks at a time, and you can't, not think about that. Derek Chambers, Mallard Creek has scored a defensive touchdown in the last 3 games. Okay, that's a good trend. You can definitely keep that trend going. Let's see here. Any more comments right there? Okay. All right. Let's take a look at another big game right here. Charlotte Christian going on the road to take on Providence Day. This is a game I was looking forward to before the season. And I was hoping that, I was going to be there, but I didn't know it was on this week. You got so many big games. It makes it real tough to decide where you're going to go. But a lot of talent on the field, a lot of big-time college recruits on the field. If you love recruiting, this is a game you want to be at because the future of college football is going to be at Providence Day this Friday night. When you look at Charlotte Christian, the loss to Raven Gap for me was a little, disappointing. But Raven Gap is such a good football team, and then going all the way down to Georgia to play. I mean, I know it takes a lot out of you as a football team to go that far for a conference game. My goodness. But they're 5-2 on the season, and they lost that Raven Gap game 24-10. But other than that, they've had, pretty good games. You mentioned the Weddington loss in overtime was their only other loss there. But their other games, they've been putting up a lot of points. I mean, even when they lost to Weddington, they scored 38, 52 against Southside, 42 against Cuthbertson, 55 against Topsail, 35 against Latin, and then last week, 56 against Harold's Christian. So, really, really good offensive team. It might be a lot of points put up on the board this Friday night. You look at the players, each step at quarterback has done a great job in his senior year. KJ Jones committed to NC State recently. Dynamic football player. He's a running back, getting in space. He does some amazing things. On the other side of the ball, of course, we always talked about Providence Day players with Jaden Davis and that great receiving core over there with Ship, Goodwin, Holler. Just those three by themselves can get it done. And Peel in the backfield who plays both sides of the ball. God almighty, it's just going to be so much fun to see, all that talent in one place. But the big thing here, I want to see the chess match because Mega Producer, we remember we covered these guys in the COVID year. And we went to several of these games between East Step and Greer. Amazing coaching, going back and forth, trying to play chess on how the East Step's defense will match up against Greer's multitude of formations and plays. It's a lot of fun if you like, high level coaching. So that's going to be the big thing with this game. What do you guys think?
No, you said it all, Pep. I mean, this can be a fun game to watch. So many athletes on the field. It's a testament, once again, to the quality of football that we have here in Charlotte. I mean, we are really blessed as fans and as parents to have the caliber of talent, both players and coaches, in this area. An incredible, incredible game. Lots of talent. Should be a really fun one to watch if you're an offensive person.
The most interesting thing I want to see, we know Providence Day was pushed to the limit by Charlotte Catholic. We know what Charlotte Catholic's game plan was. Grind and pound, slow the game down. Will Charlotte Christian try to emulate that? That's typically not their style of offense. They're more, kind of a spread, balanced offense. But it will be interesting to see if they do that because they've got another back on that team in Ryan Henley, who can spell KJ Jones if they want to go to that kind of slow down game, keep it close, keep the score down kind of deal. So I'm interested to see, what Charlotte Christian's offensive game plan is for this one.
I think they're averaging Christian 41 points a game or something stupid like that, Pep. Mm-hmm. So if they did try to do that, it'd be interesting to see how long they're able to do that, right? Because they're used to putting up points fast. And once again, going back to what we talked about with Mallard Creek and Huff, can a coach remain patient if you go to that strategy?
Yeah,
then like for another kind of like another outside looking in point of view, man. If I'm these guys, both defenses, I would try to come in with a point to prove. Like you keep hearing about how high powered and how many points the offense can score and the guys they got on offense. if I'm a defensive guy, I'm licking my chops saying like, hey man, it's time to show them that it's more than Charlotte Christian than offense. Hey man, it's more than Providence Day than offense. Like if I'm these guys, I'm looking forward to this matchup. Like how you say it's a good competitive battle between the coaches. Like the difference is going to be the kids that's on the field. So somebody's going to have to step up. I know Charlotte Christian been battle tested playing Weddington, even though they lost. You said they lost that game to was it Weddington, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Providence Day played Charlotte Christian. I mean Charlotte Catholic. You know, so they won one of those non-conference games against the public school. So I think it might be pretty even on paper, but like I said, man, it's probably gonna come down. If I'm the defensive guys, I'm looking at like, hey, if we're gonna win this game, we need to get multiple stops, and we got to do it. We got to do it our way.
Absolutely, that's a great point right there. Another big one. This one is for a share of the conference lead. We got Charlotte Catholic coming over to Butler, and this was a great game last year at Charlotte Catholic. Butler was able to pull it out. Butler ended up winning the conference title. When you start looking at Butler, I feel like, they feel like they're a little forgotten sometimes over there because we've been talking about all the great teams over in the Queen City Conference with Huff and Chambers and Mallard Creek. Butler, ever since they lost to New Hanover, they've given up 9 to Myers Park, 0 to Garinger, 6 to Providence, 8 to East Meck, and 2 to Rocky River. So another defense that is digging in and doing some really, really big things on the field. And that's going to be the big key here for the Bulldogs. I think, offensively, they'll be able to, do some things, pretty well. We know Catholic has struggled a bit on defense this year. They've been in a lot of high-scoring games. So I think that the Butler offense with Coach Hales leading them will be, all right. But if the Butler defense comes to play and, can slow down that high-powered Catholic offense, which is really running and throwing the football really well, man. It's crazy. I've never seen a Catholic team that's almost 50-50 balance. But, with Sean Boyle and Jack Larson, they're really getting it done. Bovine can run the ball really well inside. He's a, kind of that throwback Catholic, fullback they love to have, power back. But the big difference with Catholic is they got some receivers, man. Jacob Deller, is a really good receiver who blocks well on the edge. And they've got another one in, I'm trying to pull up the roster, but his number's number 4. He was really impressive when I saw them against Hickory Ridge earlier in the season. So, I think Butler's big key, obviously, is defense. And then once again with Catholic, can they find a way to slow Butler down? I think they've got to find a way to get pressure on Lawrence. Very talented sophomore quarterback. He's, we've seen him up close several times. He's been to our camps. If he has time, it doesn't matter who he's throwing it to. He's putting the ball on the money. I watched some of his film earlier today. It's really, really impressive, man. What do you guys think?
I was literally thinking the same thing you said about, Butler sort of feeling like, they're sort of in the shadow, so to speak, at times, maybe just from a media standpoint, just simply because, of Chambers, they get a lot of media attention, rightfully so. I mean, they've earned that attention, but I feel like Butler sometimes may want to remind people, hey, we're still here, and really they really never left. They're there, and I feel like that might be a little motivating factor just to sort of remind people. But Charlotte Catholic is a great team. Obviously, we saw them up close too, and I pointed that out too. I noticed that hey, Catholic is much more balanced than I've ever seen them, since I've been, really paying attention to this. So they're not just a run team anymore. So they're definitely dynamic, got a dynamic passing game too. So should be really good to see how Catholic's offense matches up with that Butler defense that hasn't gave up more than 10 points since week 1. I'm curious to see who wins that battle.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with both of you guys. Even with Butler, man, like Butler feeling like they're the long lost brother or just feeling forgotten. Like even where the school's at, like if you didn't know where the school was at, like you can't see it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't pop out to you when you're on that side of town, things like that. But like, and I think with Charlotte Catholic, I think they have a very unique offensive scheme because even with you, like with your best player being a tight end, defenses, you have to kind of shift your focus to whatever side he's on. So that opens up it being more balanced where maybe they can run weak instead of running strong, or maybe they can throw the ball opposite of him, different things like that. So if I'm Butler and I'm Butler's defense, like if they're able to shut Charlotte Catholic down, this is good. That'd be a good game for them, good night for them. So if I'm Butler's defense, I'm looking like, hey, they keep raving about how good his offense is. They can say they can run just as good as they can pass now. If I'm Butler's defense, I'm like, hey, man, let's lock in. They got a tight end going to Notre Dame, one of the best in the nation. Like, if I'm the DN, hey, if I get the lineup in front of him, I'm like, hey, I'm going to be physical with you all night, try to see if you can stop him from even running routes. Linebackers, if you get a chance to chip him, if he comes on certain routes, just never know. So, I think it'll be a great game. I think Butler wants this game. Like how mega producer Brandon said, they still feel like they're here. They feel like they never went anywhere, so it's probably cool to fly on the radar. But, I think this game is going to have a lot of people's attention.
Well said, man. Absolutely. All right, and then real quick, Coxmill, Lake Norman, it's a big game in the Greater Metro 4. Coxmill, obviously, Ken, if you saw them last Monday night when they put 58 up on A.L. Brown, and then Lake Norman coming off the tough loss to Hickory Ridge. You got some thoughts on this one?
Pep, I do. My second year at Central Bears, we were 7-0. You came to game 8, and we got beat handily to a really good Northwest Cabarrus football team. It's hard for kids to come back to that because when you're 6-0, like Norman were, or you're 7-0 like we were, and for our kids, they weren't used to being that. They had never been that before. They had never been anywhere near that before. They start to think that they're a little bit better than they are. And, it's almost like that crack in the well that you never really noticed when you were winning, but all of a sudden those floodgates can open if you allow it to. And so I think for this game, it's going to be really important because Coxmill is rolling right now. They've had several good wins in a row. If Coxmill comes out and they score early, which their high-powered offense has potential to do, the question is, how will Lake Norman respond? Or on the flip side, Lake Norman comes out and they start smacking them in the mouth and they get up and they're able to prevent some of those receivers from getting open and they get in the quarterback's face for Coxmill. What will Coxmill do if they're not putting up those Maiden numbers all of a sudden? We talk about this. Webb talked about it earlier. This is a huge game for both teams. How will Lake Norman respond? Who is Lake Norman really as a football team? And then Coxmill, they've lost to two really good teams. I think their two losses were Mooresville and Huff. If that sounds right to you, who are they? Are they that team that's really ready to take the next step, like I think that they're capable of, or will they be brought back down to reality this week? I think that first quarter is going to determine a lot to the outcome of this game.
Well said, man. Excellent. Chat administrator on this one. Coxmill versus Lake Norman won't find a game with two teams that have polar opposite styles of play to each other.
I think when this game too, like Lake Norman, like how Kenneth said, like you'll figure out what type of team you are. Like early in the year, you played the best team on your schedule last week, and now you're playing probably the second best team on your schedule this week. So you started out the season, you beat West Iredell, North Iredell, Statesboro, A.L. Brown, West Cabarrus, teams like that. You probably like, hey, okay, there's nothing wrong with winning those games because you want to have some type of confidence about yourself. But you are 6-1, so you still may be a good team, but you might not necessarily be as good as maybe you think you are. So this can be one of them games, like he said, like that first quarter can tell a lot because let's say if Coxmill attacking just clicking in the first quarter early and they jump out on you, is your kids gonna look at like, hey man, we might not be that good, man. We got whooped last week, now we getting whooped this week, So if I'm Lake Norman, I'm making sure that the first quarter, man, I'm not letting it get out of hand. I'm not trying to give Coxmill any life. I'm trying to show people like, hey, if I'm Lake Norman, like, hey, we are for real. And I think with Coxmill, like how you say, like they had some games that had Maiden numbers, and some games it may look like a different team at first, but even when they win, it may be different scores. So I think if I'm looking at Coxmill, I'm like, hey man, we gotta be consistent in what we do. Like I know it's weird if one week we put up 14 or we put up 10, then one where we put up 50. So it's one of those things where if I'm Cox, I'm like, hey guys, let's be consistent. This is a very good football team that we're playing. So let's just keep playing. So
very good, man. Great stuff. All right. Let's move on to last week's predictions. Oh boy.
I'm getting old, Pep. Can you read how we did last week? I can't see it. My screen isn't.
Well, Engine, you went 7-0 last week.
That. I don't feel so confident this week, for the record.
With a commanding lead now at 33-16.
And you didn't send out those games last week either, right? That was all off the cuff last week,
That was all off the cuff. Yes, it was.
But some people are always prepared regardless. Pep, I like to be one of those people. I spend hours and hours and hours prepping for Football Focus Weekly every single week.
Preparation is important, man.
This is a family show, right? Children watch the show, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I won't tell you what I think about you at that.
Well, you got the bonus wrong, producer, okay? And we agreed that if you got it wrong, it was -2. Okay?
Yes.
So, you had a little -2 there. I'm sorry.
You don't lose points for a bonus question on a test.
If you got it wrong, it was -2.
Big Shelby pulling out. That's the best week he's had all week, all year.
Big Shelby has gone on a run here, 6-1, and now tied in the win column with producer. And thanks to the bonus, I had a winning week finally. It's gotten me 3 games over 500. And then Joe Hughes was hit by the bonus. And he's not very happy with that.
Right. All caps. I agree.
If you believed in the Sandhills Titans, unfortunately, they've lost 26-6. So that's why you have.
I know it, man. The Bearcats, man. I talked to the coach on the phone, man.
There it is.
Well, I didn't know they had only played like 2 games in 3 years, okay? I didn't know that beforehand.
That's why it's a bonus, man. You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. Well, thanks, chat administrator. I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that I'm always wrong. Let's just think about who makes the show here.
We like the teams we discuss. We move on. we learn from our experiences and we get ready for the next week.
Joe is not happy. He's not having a good time over there. He's not having a good time.
I think he's taking it worse than me. He's typing in all caps.
His last 5 comments have been in all caps.
Joe's
all right. Well, let's move on to this week's predictions. All right. Palisades at Berry. I'll go first since I always go last. I will go first this week, and I will take Palisades. Engine.
Because of your best to last ranking, I'm going Palisades.
Mega producer.
Palisades.
Big Shelby.
Palisades.
Clean sweep for the Pumas. All right, Coach Simmons.
Coach Simmons.
All right.
Coach Dean, let's do it.
Go,
Coach Lips is over there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. West Meck at Hopewell. I'm going to maybe surprise people and take Hopewell. All right, Big Shelby.
Let's see. I may take West Meck. I'm gonna take West Meck.
All right, Engine.
From 4-0 to 4-4 to 5-4. I got West Meck.
Mega producer.
I'm gonna go with West Meck to rebound.
All right. Bunker Hill at Maiden. This is a big game. Maiden's undefeated. Bunker Hill only has 1 loss. I'm going to roll with the home team in Maiden. I know it's crazy up there. Let's see. Mega producer.
I did my research. I'm going Maiden.
All right. Big Shelby.
Maiden is my former neck of the woods, man. Let me see. Bunker Hill's undefeated. Maiden 6-1. I'm gonna go with my guy Chris Culliver and Maiden, man. Shout out to Chris Culliver making the shrine move, man.
Heck of a player. Engine.
Maiden's only loss was to Watauga. Watauga's only loss was to Londell Burns. And Maiden has a stud quarterback. This dude is 6'5" with long goldy locks.
Long hair, don't care, baby.
Underneath his helmet, Wesley Thompson. I'm going with Maiden.
My guy Wes is a dog too, man. Wes is a good kid, man.
You know him?
Yeah, I got to meet him whenever he transferred in. We was at Summer League basketball. He was talking about how they were trying to appeal the transfer right during the game. So
all right, Charlotte Catholic and Butler. I'm gonna. This is a tough one, man. I'm gonna take the Bulldogs though. Let's see. Big Shelby.
I'm gonna take Butler.
All right. Engine.
See, I had Butler going into it, Pep, but then you talked about how Charlotte Catholic was almost 50-50 run pass with Larson at tight end.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Pope's boys on this one.
All right. Mega producer.
Butler.
Okay. NFL game of the week. We got the Bills.
I got a question. The biggest game in football is happening Sunday night at 8:20. And this is the game you chose.
It's a big game.
This is the biggest game this week.
No, it's not.
Who are the Feagles playing?
The Philadelphia Eagles, the only undefeated team in the NFL, is playing that team out in Texas with that little star, that little kitty star in their helmet.
And that's why we're not talking about it. It ain't the Eagles. The Eagles ain't the reason we ain't talking about it.
Exactly. We will never talk about that team from Texas on this show.
See? That's all. That's all it is.
Exactly. So let's go back to the Bills at Chiefs. Engine.
Yeah, I'm just getting ready to pull for when CMC goes to Buffalo. Go Bills.
We'll talk about that later. Mega producer.
Josh Allen's on my fantasy team, so I'm going Bills.
Big Shelby.
Man, I knew the Bills was on to something this year, man. They putting up all these points. And I found out the common denominator with a good quarterback and a great team is the OC, Joe Brady, man. He was out there at LSU with my guys. We won it all.
No. He's the quarterback coach. He's not the OC.
Hey, OC, quarterback coach, all about the same thing in the NFL. I'm going with the Bills.
Now look at your pick-em record. You're right. That is about the same thing for you.
I'm going to take, and as Andy Reid says, how about those Chiefs? Bonus this week. Clover at Blythewood. Little South Carolina football action. I'm going to take Coach Seidel's Blythewood Bengals. Big Shelby.
I'm going to take probably Blythewood.
Probably?
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Okay.
I got faith.
All right. Okay. Mega producer.
I'm going to opt out just so I don't lose that too just now.
How does that
Is that can I opt out?
Can't opt out.
Oh, okay. All right. So, I'm gonna go with Blackbud. We've been down there. We're familiar with them. Good people there. Blythewood.
All right. Engine.
Cabco alum coach Jason Seidel and the Bengals, baby.
Joe Hughes says Clover is the better football team.
What does Joe Hughes know about South Carolina football?
All right. Well, that is week 9 predictions right there. Week 9 predictions need a sponsor because I post them every week. So if you want to sponsor a segment, VTO Sports took the Pepman's players, but you can sponsor the predictions too.
And the only star we like is the one on the CFI logo.
Somebody asked me, was I a Cowboys fan because I made that the logo, and I said,
absolutely.
No, not at all. It was just convenient. All right, so a couple more things here on the comments. Chat administrator, Eagles versus Cowboys is trash. Nobody wants to watch that.
Hey, if y'all haven't paid attention, we have the best division in football right now. We got 5-0, 4-1, 4-1. Then we got.
That's not what we're talking about.
You're saying it's trash.
I've got a suggestion for the sponsor for the Pick'ems.
Yes.
Mama V's Chicken, home of the best damn chicken sandwich, the sweet and sassy chicken sandwich. Derek Chambers, let's get on our sponsorship trail, please, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. Mama's V's Chicken. All right, cool.
Sounds good to me. Oh, real quick, since y'all brought up the NFL recently, big shout out to De'Ami Brown, 2 touchdowns last week. So
yes, one-handed.
Yeah, real big game.
Oh man.
Hey, also don't forget about the other big shout out. Shout out to the Panthers fireman Matt Rule. Hopefully the next step.
Whoa.
Hopefully the next step will get the Panthers
ahead. Whoa.
They have done nothing.
God dang, man.
Penalty box.
Seriously. This guy here going rogue, man. You can't go rogue. Jeez. Dang,
I think that sponsorship idea was good, man.
Yeah.
I just got in trouble. I promised my boys that I was stopping cussing.
That was sort of a.
Yeah, we broke that rule tonight.
You needed that to drive the point home. It was effective marketing. That's what we'll
exactly. It's like when you're coaching, you kind of say a couple words for effect, to get your point across.
That's what we'll call it.
Dramatic flair. Yeah.
I had a coach one time. He said, "Coach, I've never seen somebody be as mad as you are and then smile the next second the way you do." I said, "Well, it's all for effects. You're not really mad at the kids. You just yell at them and tell them they stink, and then you smile and in the butt." All fake.
Oh man, there were a lot of great comments. That's it, Chuck. That's a good one right there. That's a good one.
They should have enough money.
If you paying rent downtown, absolutely. Okay.
Uptown.
Gracious.
Uptown. The only uptown.
No, now don't get me started on that.
Long-standing debate there.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we could talk for a while, but we got business to do because it's that time to slime with your favorite host. Not me.
You know what time it is? It's the reason why we come to CFI. It's not because we're the most influential prep football show in the entire Southeast. It's not because we do things that no other show could do. It's not because of the showcases that we put on. They get dozens and dozens and dozens of kids scholarship offers. It's because of Slime Time. You know what time it is? It's time to get your slime on. Let's go to the big man in Shelby, Mr. Big Shelby himself. Who are you sliming on tonight?
Man, tonight I am sliming, man. With my job, man, I work for the city park, man, dealing with athletics and things like that, man. I'm here to say softball parents are the worst parents. Softball and baseball parents, man. And shit like nothing right. We out here working a kids game. Let's say I think it's probably 6U, 7U girls, maybe even 8, 9U, whatever. Girls that can hardly, necessarily pitch. First of all, we're at the city park. It's a recreational sport, right? So you might have one team that's very good, then you might have a team that's very bad. It's just based off how your coach did the draft. So here we are, got parents yelling at us because they say one team's better than the other. Got an umpire that don't want to call from behind the plate because the catcher can't catch because she ain't number 8 or 9 years old. And the parents are it just keeps getting worse, man. We lead the game, it's 17-4. We pull back up, it's 17-7. Now I'm trying to figure out what team is really that good. I really don't understand, man. But these parents, you have to understand when you're dealing with youth sports and recreational purposes at parks, for one, understand no coach on that field is getting paid. Understand, two, the umpires are probably volunteers and they're probably old and they're just doing it for the love of the game. Please stop being so harsh, man. It's only 8 and 9-year-olds, man. They hardly even know what's going on in the world right now. And you think these guys and girls are just supposed to be the next Bryce Harper right now. Just relax. Just relax, please. I'm begging you. Lower your frustration when coming to a recreational event. Please, just lower your frustration.
The umpire doesn't want to get behind the plate because the catcher can't catch, and parents are yelling out there at the coaches. Boy, that reminds me, good buddy Darius Bryson, assistant track coach at Livingstone College. He's got a little girl playing soccer, same league as my boys, and he live tweets his parents hollering at their coach because the coach doesn't know what he does. In the words of Coach Bryson, he says, "Sir, we practice for 45 minutes each week. None of us know what we're doing." God, don't. Mega producer Brandon, newly enshrined mega producer Brandon, who are you slamming on this week?
So this week it was really, really, really easy to choose. So I got to slime none other than Mr. Davante Adams for just losing his cool, pushing the cameraman. Now he's got a little, misdemeanor assault charge, and me myself being a photographer of football myself, I took a little offense to that, man. I think, it's going to be, you can't lose your cool like that. Of course, it's blown out of proportion. No, the cameraman really wasn't hurt, but it's just the optics of it all. You can't just lose your cool like that. You've lost games before. You're going to lose again. And, NFL players, wide receivers specifically, already have this, stigma for being divas, so to speak, and spoiled and stuff like that. So you can't just lose your cool like that for everyone to see. So, it's just, it's not really hurting. It's probably being blown out of proportion, but just the optics of it just looks bad. You can't just push people, when you're upset. Almost reminded me of Dennis Rodman kicking the cameraman for those of us old enough to remember that. But Davante, you got to do better, man. You can't lose your cool like that.
That's good words. Mega producer Brandon. I'm going to slime, and this might ruffle some feathers, but I've been known to ruffle a feather or two in my life. But there is nothing that drives me more crazy than going to Food Line. And, of course, you pick the nearest lane to the deli, which is usually like the 12 items or less. And so you go through it because you expect it to be quick. You've got some kid up there, and he's going through it fairly quick. And so you get your 5 or 6 little things out on the little conveyor belt, and then you look up, and the cashier is missing. And you're like, where did the cashier go? Has anybody seen? How am I in the quick line and I'm now watching people leave in other lines? And the reason is because that cashier is not because he's not doing his job. That dude is frantically attempting to do his job. But it's because in lane 15, someone is looking for that pack of Marlboro Lights, the special kind, and they just need the slim, but I don't even know how you say it, Marlboro, I don't know. They're looking for some cigarettes. And the little 15-year-old cashier can't find the cigarettes 16 aisles down, 25 yards away. And so he comes running back. Which ones did you say? And the lady says, I told you, the Marlboro Lights, the one with the red tag. And he goes running back. Like, if you are going to get a pack of cigarettes, be in the aisle that's directly beside the cigarettes. Don't be 14 owls down. It's just not kosher. So people who get an owl 15 to get cigarettes, I'm slamming you. Pep, who you slamming on tonight?
Well, I got to bring all y'all back.
Dad. Don't. Dad. Dad.
I am slamming everyone affiliated with CFI that I invited to my engagement party.
I came, Pep. I came. Me and the boys came.
You came late.
Technicality.
We had special things planned involving all of you guys that I couldn't do. I bought 200 chicken wings
There were none left when we got there.
because I didn't cook the rest of them.
Dang. I told you I was on my way.
Well, Pep, I'm here to tell you. It's a good saying out there that says,
It doesn't matter what you have to say. I invited you out of the kindness of my heart, and I am thoroughly disappointed
There are pictures of me at
in all
your
of you.
engagement party, Pep. Pictures.
I'd like to
Not your
remind
boys.
the viewing public that I am not included in this rant.
No, you're not.
I
You're
sure.
I just want Pep to understand, man. It is a very good saying out there that says, I'm not married yet, but they said happy wife, happy life. So I had to choose between your engagement party or my girlfriend.
But dude, the
Let me
wings.
tell you right
That's
now,
not what you told me. You told me something else.
No.
I had the game, yes, that morning. Up until about 4 o'clock.
The party was.
My girlfriend wanted me to take her to the fair. In Cleveland County's biggest fair. So I was like, hey.
Thank you,
All right,
Nikisha. Thank
Right.
you.
And
It was being an inconvenience.
Engagement party.
God
She came
almighty.
to Shelby and she wanted to go to the fair.
I think what he fails to realize is these wings had sauce on them. The wings would have had sauce.
This
I will
is
tell
true.
you what, man.
This
if
is
you don't
true.
elope, I will be at the wedding.
If I don't elope,
Because eloping is the cheaper route.
well, yeah, I spent a lot of money here. I mean, good gracious.
Hashtag 200 chicken wings.
In-laws.
Look, it seemed like Keisha said she was there. She said there's no wings was there. Kenneth said there was no wings there.
Because it came late. Nikisha was late. Engine was late.
I mean, but how late was I really, Pep?
An hour. It ended at 8.
She said all the coconut rum was gone. So what did you have, Pep?
Because the coconut rum was not for anyone.
Pep, some of us aren't as old as you. 9 o'clock is what time you start getting ready for parties.
Yeah, Pep.
Not at the house.
I'm over here like, hey, well, if the party, who is the party at 8? I'm just now waking up out my
It's
nap.
a day party.
Yeah, I was like, this party's gonna be going on till like 1 a.m. Me and the boys, we're gonna get down. My boys, they've been working on the gritty. They've been working on all these dances. You're doing the wobble.
Boys called me and said, Big Webb, what time you getting there? I said the party don't start till 10 o'clock, baby.
That's what we were talking about.
Well,
No, please.
it's cool, man. It was extra chicken wings there for me.
Yes, you
you're
had
cool
your
with me.
share.
Look,
You're cool with me,
Keisha
man.
is saying she thought the party was just getting started at 7:30.
No, that's
She didn't
not
re-
accurate.
she
either.
didn't read
I
her
got
email.
receipts. I got
didn't read her
receipts for
email.
all y'all. So
No,
I just want you to know, I'm gonna
Y'all
give
did
you a
some
mulligan.
shots and
Okay,
squats.
I'm
Y'all did
giving
some
you a
shots.
mulligan. Well, you had to be there. You had to be there for that.
It's
What
even
kind of
it was
event
in
was
my
you running
people's
over
cup.
there?
Midland is Central Cabarrus people, Pep. Those are my people out there. But 8 o'clock being over, I got there at 9 o'clock, 8:54. If you ask my boy, we should start feeling good. The boy said the sliders were good though. And
That's good. That's good.
My party with my Nikisha.
You know
Put that
what?
up there.
You know what? This is all communicated, okay? This is all communicated on the Evite, all right? And
Right.
I feel like, my kindness was taken for weakness, okay? So when we have the wedding, we're going to have a different setup, okay? And I will not have as many wings.
If I was gonna be at the back of the room.
Nah,
No.
Pep. You had a wing when I'm coming.
Don't downgrade the wings because people want to show up late. No.
Never play down to your opponent's competition, man.
Well, I played up and y'all didn't come, so that's that. Anyway, that's the end of the show tonight. Good night, everybody. We got to have a family discussion. See ya.